Welcome, you beautiful butt chuggers, waffle stompers, shitty kitty wranglers.
All the above.
All of the above.
Each and every.
It's Sunday morning in southwestern Ohio. We're your hosts of the Brohio podcast show. I'm the delicious Nicolicious.
I'm Rob. Hi.
He's the spicy Rob Dog.
It's ever so spicy.
We're not nearly as spicy in the morning as we are in the evening.
No, not at all.
We try not to interject alcohol this early in the morning. We got some, I have a Diet Snapple. Hopefully, it's enough to just lube up the vessel, get it going. And this episode of the Brohio podcast show is sponsored by nobody because we're not fucking sellouts. We don't want to put ads in our show.
No.
We have the opportunity. We're not fucking doing it. Why? Why would we need to, Rob?
I don't know. We make millions.
To get rich. That's why.
Yeah.
We don't need to be rich.
Yeah.
I just need like $7 for a pizza.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Pizza. Breakfast pizza.
Ooh, yeah.
Why does breakfast pizza go away when you leave school?
Man, I miss it.
My wife makes breakfast pizza.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yell up there
Must
and
be
tell
nice.
her. Yell up there and tell her to get in the fucking kitchen. She's up there making cupcakes.
Oh, is that what she's doing up there?
Yeah. So if you hear my kids screaming or like broom handles, don't ask. The baby always grabs broom handles. I don't know why. She's sick. But this episode is actually sponsored by our Patreon subscribers.
Thank you.
We would like to identify a few of them right now.
Sure.
Our newest one, Julie Ackney. Possibly Ankney. Possibly Yank Me. She maybe spelled it wrong. Julie, she's an avid butt chugger. She's on the closed group there. She's always talking to us.
Thank you very much. Next, we got Tracy Bull.
What a cool last name. Bull. And Ashley Wig. Ashley, thank you so much. We enjoy your line of hair coverage, like bald covering devices for next one.
Last, Crystal Gruber.
Crystal? No, that's not right. It's not Crystal Gruber. I'm gonna fucking leave it though.
Did you mess that up?
It was Josh Gruber's from last week, but
Oh, okay.
she'll laugh. So, and then last week there was Alex Neubauer,
Damn it, Nick.
and I didn't even read it. His name is Alec. It's ALC. So Alec Neubauer. Thank you for your Patreon pledge. Hold on one second.
It's Crystal Herrera.
Crystal Herrera. That's pretty close to Crystal Gruber.
Let me delete that here from the notes.
Yeah. Crystal, thank you for your Patreon pledge. Thank you, Crystal Herrera. And there's one I forgot to put on here because I was going to put it last and I forgot to. We got a pledge from Hillbilly Horror Stories.
Yep.
And that is a tremendous honor to have a pledge from another podcast. You know, Hunter from Murder and Such, he pledges to us. And now Jerry and Tracy from the Hillbilly Horror Stories.
Thank you, guys.
We return the favor. So if you listen to their show this week, they're going to say, thanks, Brohio, for nothing. Thanks for your Patreon pledge. But we are honored to have them as Patreon subscribers. I think I definitely want to do an episode with Jerry because man, Jerry is
He's been places.
He does that show with Tracy. He's kind of restricted. He's more of like a PG-13, a little above crowd, you know,
right.
He doesn't make it too trashy like us. We're the guys at the party with like one sock on. We've shit our pants at least twice. We haven't shaved or brushed our teeth in a few days, but still we're there and we're walking around the party like, hey man, you want a natty? We're
throwing up in your parents' plants.
Yeah, like the next day you're wondering who took a shit in the back of the toilet tank. We're those guys. We're
upper deckers.
Yeah, Jerry's the guy next door like, I really wish they would just fucking keep it down. But he wants to come over to the party. You know, he wants to come over and pull it out and show everybody.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a Patreon episode with him. We're going to let him completely pull it out. Show it to everybody. Yeah.
Hey.
No matter how bad it stinks, we're going to let him pull it out and just show it around. And
I'm all about that.
Yeah. And as always, go check out Hillbilly Horror Stories. Rob, I got a newspaper article for you. It's about masturbating.
Okay. You had me at masturbating.
I'm not very good at it. So a Clearwater man who was captured masturbating at a bus station on Gulf to Bay Boulevard told cops that he was a fictional character. Captain Kirk from the famous science fiction series Star Trek Don't
Don't you say that.
Don't get that twisted, bro. As per WFLA TV in Tampa, Clearwater police said officers arrived at a bus stop at Clearwater around 11:20 a.m. on Monday following a report of a lewd act. Responding cops said they spotted a man seated on a bench. He was fondling himself under his shorts. What a way to go. In the arrest report, police stated that it was apparent the man was masturbating. When the responding officers questioned what he was doing, he said that he was scratching himself. We've all been there before.
Vigorously.
Yeah, a little rubber dub, little do real quick.
It's a little humid in the morning.
Oh, my goddamn balls are sticking to my fucking legs. I just got to get them off my... When the officers arrested the man for disorderly conduct, he was asked to identify himself. The arrest report reveals that the man told cops his name was James Tiberius Kirk, which is the full name of the fictitious character Captain Kirk from Star Trek. Police soon found that the real name of the imposter was James Roger Budrick. What an unfortunate last name to have. Budrick. The 56-year-old man was charged with disorderly conduct and providing a false name to law enforcement. The Georgia native has been in Florida for 5 years. He has spent around 42 months in prison for aggravated battery with a lethal weapon. He got that goddamn lethal weapon up in them cargo shorts, you know what I'm saying? And giving a false bomb threat.
So in other words, this is just Florida being Florida.
Yeah. And we did have some people write us this week that were from Florida. Like, you know, it is just as bad as you guys say it is. Now, James Roger Bundrick, we are hiring here at the Bro Ohio Podcast Show. If you'd like to send us your resume, you can come in the studio and masturbate all you want. Rob and I don't care. We're doing it right now.
Yeah. Never stop.
We can't stop, won't stop. So send us your resume. We don't care what it says. We'll get you in here. We'll find you something to do.
Include pictures of that big, beautiful dick of yours.
Yeah, send us the wiener. If you, now to circle back to the Patreon thing, we're going to hopefully interview some of our Patreon guests very soon. And that's in the $10 club. You get, we will call you. You'll be in a Patreon episode. If you would like to join our Patreon, go to patreon.com/Brohio Podcast. We also have Snapchat. I've relegated Snapchat duties to Rob because I'm, when he logs in, it logs me out. And when I log in, it logs him out. And I run the Instagram. I'm going to give Rob the Snapchat. So if you guys want to talk to Rob Dog,
I'll hang out there. Yeah. You know where to find me.
And if you want to, I check it a little bit. But the thing about Snapchat is once you guys send us pictures of your penises and we had the penis in the hot dog bun with peanut butter on it. I'm not making that up. That was a real fucking snap we got. It was a big wiener. We need a $20 Patreon pledge level where we have like the best of, and it's just a bunch of dick pics. Right. Right. And it seems mostly of the unsolicited nudity we get is male related.
Of course it is.
That's fine. It's whatever. I was not the guy in the locker room in high school like, you should put your pants on. I was the guy like, let's just hang out and talk like men. And by men, I mean us sitting on this wooden bench with our balls sitting on the bench with us. Bare nuts.
Yeah. If you want to send me pictures of your hog, go for it.
And we, not me. Please direct those to Rob. We didn't have any podcast plugs this week. So we're going to go ahead and plug a local nature sanctuary. That's right. Brohio doesn't stop at your YouTube channels, your Instagrams, your podcasts, your bands. We'll plug your projects.
Yeah, we will.
We'll plug your ass.
We'll plug whatever we can get our plugs in.
Yeah, whatever we can fit it into. But we're going to plug this local nature sanctuary. Hi. My name is Rick.
And my name's Bob. And we're talking to you on behalf of the Bob Kitty City Nature Reserve.
We specialize in taking in broken kitties at the Bob Titty Nature Reserve. We'll help you with hurt kitties and hairy kitties and kitties that don't have homes no more.
And last week, we even got a shaved kitty.
And
I liked that one the best.
I love shaved pussies. Here at the Nature Reserve, my daily duties include cleaning out cages. I also provide the pussies with the proper amount of nutrition they need, and oftentimes I'll have to go into the cages with the bad kitties. And one time I was injured by one of the kitties, and we have to use the money from our supporters with various supplies and foods, and sometimes we need for medical expenses when I'm bitten by the very mean kitties.
Last week, I let a Bob kitty lick catnip out of my dick hole. I can't do it. Stop it.
Oftentimes at the Bob Kitty Titty Nature Reserve, the dangerous kitties get out of their cages, and we are trying to save enough money for a pussy alert siren to let the surrounding neighbors know that our kitties are in good hands. But we would like to let them know that sometimes the dangerous pussies do get out, and that would be a way for us to tell them.
So if you're in the neighborhood and you see a lost kitty, you can give us a call to come pick it up at 1-800 Bob Kitty Shitty City Nature Reserve.
Bob Kitty Titty Shitty.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You can also reach us on the social medias at Bro Podcast and tell us about your shitty kitty.
Send us a picture too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So yeah, go help those guys out. They're running a nature sanctuary.
They sound like great guys.
This is the fucking shit that is going to happen around here when you people don't send us podcast plugs, okay? This is just a big joke to us. We don't take anything seriously.
Oh my god, dude, my head hurts from laughing so fucking hard. We had to cut out like half of my laughing because I was laughing so fucking hard.
It's all right.
Oh man, that was a good one.
We managed.
We somehow managed.
And today we're covering
We're going back in time a little bit.
Getting in a fucking time machine.
We're fucking interdimensional space traveling.
This is a case that was handled by the ever so famous Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Hi.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Ed. Lorraine.
She's kicking it with Annabelle.
Yeah, she is. Which I thought about doing an Annabelle episode today, but I wasn't ready for that. Wasn't ready for it. So
I'm sure we'll get there eventually.
Right. So there's a movie called A Haunting in Connecticut. I've never seen this movie.
You haven't?
It was from 2009.
Yeah.
Have you watched it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Probably like 2010, so I really don't recall it that much. But
okay,
I was intrigued by the.
I get what you say. I get what you're saying, big dog.
It wasn't that remarkable of a movie.
Okay. So if you've seen the movie, it's considerably different from what actually happened.
Yeah.
Now, A Haunting in Connecticut is an alleged true story.
Yeah. That
would obviously go on to become the movie. Movies are oftentimes over-exaggerated away from the truth because they have to do that for theatrics. And
yeah, it's loosely based off of a storyline.
Right. And obviously what makes this story, smell like shit a little bit is that Ed and Lorraine Warren were part of the investigation.
That's what I was going to say.
We touched on the Warrens earlier in our podcast career.
Yeah, we did.
But when we touched on them, the police were called. They didn't like us touching on Lorraine in the elderly folks' home. Ed, he just laid there. He was kind of like had rigor mortis or whatever. So
yeah, it was pretty easy going.
He didn't mind us touching on him. Just brought him a sandwich. Now, where the story starts, we're gonna start with the Snedeker family.
Snedeker, yeah.
Snedeker. Okay.
Weird ass last name.
It is a very weird last name.
Sorry if your last name's Snedeker.
No, I'm not sorry. This story, it contains the father named Alan or Al. We're going to call him Big Al for Gay Al for this episode. Are you familiar with Big Gay Al from South Park?
Oh yeah, I love South Park.
What are you guys doing? We have Carmen, the mother, and there's also the other main player, which is the son, Phillip. So we're just South Parking out today. Hello, Terrence. Hi, Phillip. There was another son. His name was Bradley. He was younger than Philip. And there was a
cousin, wasn't there?
Cousin named Tammy.
Yeah.
And we all have a cousin named Tammy that's like, hey, after Thanksgiving's done today, we're going to sneak out back and we're going to climb up on top of the shed. And I got some hand-rolled cigarettes from one of my buddies down there at the 7-Eleven. And we're going to climb up on top of the shed and we're going to smoke these cigarettes. What? Tammy, you're 13. Why does your voice sound like that? Baby. I've been smoking for a long time, and I'm trying to help you do better things with your life, too.
They have that mixture between, like, cigarette breath and Coca-Cola breath.
Yeah.
It's like the worst thing ever.
Where's my Pepsi?
Or coffee.
I
need my coffee.
Oh, Jesus. Now, like you said, a very, very unfortunate last name. They were living in New York, and they needed to rent a place closer to UConn Hospital as their son, Philip, was receiving treatment for Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's a type of cancer. He, as of 2012, he did pass away from the cancer coming back. I think he was 38 when he finally passed away. And they stumbled upon a place that had a cheap rent at 208 Meriden Avenue in Southington, Connecticut. Now, this area is also known as the Apple Valley area. And Rob, do you know why it's called the Apple Valley area?
No, don't tell me.
They have like, it's crazy to think about. They have these orgies, okay, and they call them caramel apple. They call them caramel apple parties.
Okay.
And the men will get fellaced by women or men.
I like that term.
And right at climax, you people from Connecticut are fucking sick. Right at climax, they'll pull their phallus out of the mouth and they'll spray their ejaculate on the person's face.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll grab a handful of peanuts and they'll throw it on the person's face. And then they'll stick their penis back in the mouth, and then the person looks like a caramel apple. And they do these caramel apple orgies. There's so many of them that they call this the Apple Valley. They're in Southington, Connecticut.
That explains so much.
And if you're listening to the Brohio Podcast Show and you would like to have a caramel apple performed on you, please don't write us, because we're married men with children and lives, and we don't want to do that to you. And I have a peanut allergy also, which explains why my wife always posts memes about people not eating her ass. So,
fuck.
If you've never listened to the Brohio Podcast Show before,
welcome.
We are a PG-13 operation. Sometimes things get away from us, and we say things we don't mean. And I just said a lot of things I don't mean. Sorry. Now, at this point, it just made sense for the Snedekers. Was that the Sedecker?
The Snedekers.
To move into the house due to the cheap rent. They needed to be close to the hospital. It was large enough for the family, which included 3 children and a cousin.
It's a really nice house if you look at it.
It's a gorgeous house. And
yeah.
They were like, cheap rent. I'm like, well, what's the cheap rent on that motherfucker? Because it was a beautiful house.
Yeah.
And there was never any disclosure at first about this house possibly being haunted whenever Carmen was, trying to initially secure their situation there. And what's not to love about being there in the Caramel Apple Valley, Rob? You feel me?
Yeah.
We're going to a Caramel Apple party.
Invited all the fun parties.
And if you want to see some pictures from a Caramel Apple party, join our closed group on Facebook. That's the Brohio Podcast closed group, Butt Chuggers Anonymous.
It's a recovery group as well. It
is. We'll help you with anything you need help with. Now, while moving into the house, there was a basement they were moving stuff into. There was a lot of building materials in the basement.
Yeah.
So initially, when they moved in, they didn't make the discovery that would ultimately probably seal their fate for their stay. So
yeah, they just saw the construction material and decided not to go any further. I think from what I remember reading, there may have been during their initial walkthrough or whatever it was, the stairs to the basement may have been blocked off by the construction material. And then finally, whenever they got there, everything was downstairs. And then he kind of made the discovery after.
Okay, yeah. So now old Big Al was taking stuff in the basement. He discovered a substantial amount of embalming fluids and funeral home tools. Now, I don't know what makes something a funeral home tool, whether there's a Craftsman or Makita, what type of items a mortician would use. But he found a bunch of those tools and the embalming fluid. Embalming fluid fucking smells terrible too, just for the record.
Yep.
And depending who you ask, the family was never advised that the home had been used as a funeral home for the past several decades. And there was a funeral home there, so this is not made up. I think it was
back in the 20s.
Yeah, it was the Hannah
Hallahan.
I didn't write it down.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That's why you're better than me, Rob.
Did you see that they also found whenever they were going through and finding like drawers full of pictures of dead bodies?
Yeah, they did.
And like there was like a graveyard out back and everything.
Right.
Pretty creepy place.
Fucking sick. Now, the prior inhabitants and the owners, so they made it perfectly clear that the home was used as a funeral home. But that obviously was not conveyed to the Snedeker family. Nonetheless, out of all the top 5 places you don't want to fucking live, one of a funeral home is at the top of that list for me.
Definitely.
I don't like funeral homes at all. Just I don't know. Just not
it's not a fun vibe.
No, it's not. And to completely take a shit on the 2 sons that they had.
Yes, please.
They moved all of the funeral home stuff out of the basement, the stuff that they could move, and they deemed the space. There was 2 bedrooms downstairs. That those were the 2 only suitable spaces that could contain the 2 boys. Which
we're gonna put you in the room with all the dead people.
Well, there was one room that was actually used as the embalming room, and then the other bedroom was used as the casket display room.
Yeah.
So the boys were put in those 2 bedrooms as kind of a thank you for all their hard work and everything that they contributed to the family. They did that as a nice gesture to say, hey, we love you guys, but we don't care if you fucking get killed by a demon. All right. Now, we did watch some interviews. Part of so this wasn't a completely, this was still a funeral home. I mean, there was a conveyor system with chains where they could
and lift the coffins from the basement up to the main level.
Right. They could attach the coffin to the chain and they could reel it up for the funerals and whatnot. And that was still downstairs. And there was also still gurneys downstairs. There was obviously the embalming fluid and the tools. So that's like a pop-up business right there.
Exactly.
Why not take advantage of that? Forge a license. Because I think you got to go to school for a long time for something like that.
I would think so, yeah.
I have a cousin that does it, and I don't talk to him, but he's a fairly religious man, so he doesn't like to talk to me. But maybe I could extend an olive branch. We got a sign yesterday at the mall that says, I love Jesus, but I cuss a little. All right, so with that being said, immediately after they moved in, all kinds of horrible, haunting Ed and Lorraine shit started happening. In terms of funeral homes, spirits can rightfully become very emotional in these particular areas. It's hard for someone that doesn't immediately cross over to double back and see them in a casket, and it's not easy for them to cross over at that point. So it's said that a lot of people that are ghosts or are spirits, whatever, they do hang around funeral homes a lot because that's such emotional trauma there for a spirit, and it's not exactly the closure that they want or they need as a ghost. Me personally, I would like to be cremated and put in a Zima bottle, and I want to be dumped in Rob's ass because Brohio Podcast brought back Zima.
Yeah, if you die before me, you have my word.
All right, thank you.
You're going in my ass.
Actually, not to get too far off the subject here, but there was a YouTube video a few years ago. It was a guy that died in Scotland, I think, or Ireland, and all of his friends gathered in the bar, and they got on top of the bar, and they played Mr. Brightside by the Killers, and just everyone there screamed the song as loud as they could. And every time I watch that video, I just cry so hard because and that's what I want my friends to do. If I die from heroin tomorrow, I want you guys to get in a bar and just sing Mr. Brightside by the Killers.
Hey.
And I want you to put it on YouTube so you guys can go viral and get rich.
I'll eat it.
All right. You'll eat it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Don't wait for me to die to do that, Rob. So Phillip and Bradley, the name of the two brothers, they're stuffed in the basement. One is staying in the actual embalming room, and the other is staying in the casket display room. Nah, fuck you, fam. All right. So
I love your use of words that they're
Right.
stuffed in the basement.
Yeah. According to the family, there was a gradual change with Phillip. He became a lot darker. He also became very violent.
You don't say.
This is pretty typical behavior, and it doesn't talk much. I didn't see a lot of the word demon being thrown around in the story, but there's a lot of things that happen here that go hand in hand with the presence of a demon. I'm not a fucking demonologist. I wish I was. I wish I were a demonologist. I am not. Maybe that's something I can go to University of Phoenix for. Although ever since I got kicked off their baseball team, they haven't been very kind to me. That's a online college baseball joke. You guys don't get that. But there was, and like Rob said, there was a cemetery they found out back. It was a very small one, but nonetheless, there was a cemetery in their backyard. That, honestly, thinking about 12-year-old me, if I lived in a funeral home, I would probably say, you know what? Fuck it. Put me in the embalm. Put me in the worst room that you can put me in, because I want to make the best of this situation. We're obviously all going to die from demons.
Yeah. It's inevitable.
So put me in the worst spot. And I feel like that's what they did to you at your house when we were kids. They put you in the scariest. They removed you as far away from the family as they possibly could. And they stuffed you in that back room.
That's what happened, man.
We would go down there and put we would get grass clippings and put it in loose leaf paper and smoke it and stuff.
Out of sales receipts.
Yeah, that's what's wrong with me and Rob now.
Another thing about Phil, I think it was Philip. Yeah, once he started acting crazy. Another thing they ended up finding, he ended up writing a bunch of poetry with necrophiliac themes.
Oh, good.
So
he's Kurt Cobain.
And they also said that during one of his crazy episodes, he actually attacked his cousin with the intent on raping her. So
I am not a raper.
His family actually had him arrested and taken away for an evaluation, where he was pronounced schizophrenic. He was removed from the house until he seemed to get better before returning.
Now, if you ask the people that were there, there's some people that say that he was heavily caught up with drugs. He was taking some, but he was also going through treatment of Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yeah.
Which his medical specialist did confirm to the family had absolutely nothing to do with the possible visions that he was seeing. So, I don't know if those do go hand in hand, but
not sure.
And like Rob said before, one thing that they were finding around the house, there was head tags and toe tags.
Yummy.
But I read that no matter how often they would get rid of the toe tags, they would just keep reappearing. They would just keep multiplying and coming back. That's kind of the tip of the iceberg as far as the stuff they were dealing with in this place. I think Rob said it, they found several drawers with pictures of corpses and weird poses. What do you do?
They were voguing.
Yeah. One was doing a Heil Hitler.
The other one was dabbing.
In the 80s, yes.
In the 80s, yeah.
So he was a time traveler. I have no idea what the poses were. I'm sure it was fun. I'm sure it was fun setting those bodies up.
They were hitting the soldier boy.
I think, and I've read things from people on the internet before about AMAs with funeral or morticians or whatever, and they say that sometimes bodies make weird sounds even after they fart and air escapes them, all kinds of stuff.
They'll still move too, they'll get temporary nerve.
Jesus, no.
Electricity, or I don't really know what it is, but it's their arms and stuff will move.
Yeah. Ugh. Could you imagine the guy that has to cut me up? He's like, all right, just another day at the office. Oh my God. Smells like he's dead.
You hear that, bullfrog?
He ate a bunch of frogs. Smells like a bucket of dead frogs when I cut him open. Have you ever had frog legs before?
I have.
Are they good?
They're not bad at all.
You're disgusting.
I love eating weird things.
I'm a vegan, so it doesn't matter. I hate you. I hate doing this podcast with you. Oh God! So along with, I want to interview a mortician. We should call my cousin.
I'm down.
He'd be okay with it. Along with a sudden change of temperament with Phillip, started experiencing a lot of extreme temperature changes in the home.
Uh-oh.
Hot, cold, and anytime you watch the fucking movies, there was the Amityville Horror. This is the same thing. He just can't get things hot enough. It's cold. He's just constantly burning a fire. Amityville was a story from Ed and Lorraine Warren. Okay, so kind of makes you think it's the same tricks, same stuff going on there.
Wonder who's actually saying it was hot and cold, because we always know that you damn women are always cold.
Yeah. Not my wife, dude.
Really?
She sleeps with the window open when it's negative 20 outside. And I'm like, I can't do this.
I prefer to be freezing cold while I sleep.
Oh, Jesus.
It's easy for me to stay warm, but it's harder for me to stay cool.
We polled the listeners whether you stand up or sit down to wipe your asses.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people say they like to sit down, but there's some sick fucks that say they stand up. Let us know if you got to have it hot or cold in your room. Write us. Let us know. We'll talk to you about it. Now, to accompany these things that they were dealing with, the hot, the cold, there was the typical ghostly sounds. There was, in the interview they did, they said they would hear like music, swing music from the 1930s, and they would hear guys talking back and forth. And then this Big Al, he would just get up and walk around the house with a baseball bat looking for shit.
Dancing.
And then his boys would wake up and go, hey, Dad, what are you doing? Playing shortstop for the Yankees. Go back to fucking sleep. Look at fucking ghosts. Derek Jeter your ass into the fucking wall. He never found anybody, obviously, because he was on drugs. I would have to assume he was on drugs, because that's the only thing that explains all the shit they were dealing with. Now, I've never experienced the sounds of the paranormal, but I would have to think that would be a little more terrifying than seeing things. I would say,
depending on what you're seeing, yeah, I would say so too.
Now, but they saw some scary shit too.
Hey, especially if you were hearing music like out of this time period, like if you're hearing like swing music from like the fucking 30s, then
you hear those the 30s music, and then you hear the ghost ejaculating is what this Lorraine Warren, she said about the investigation. She said you're hearing the sounds of a male ghost ejaculating is what you're. He was a native of the Carmel Apple Valley here, and he's trying to come back for the party.
He just can't find his nuts.
Right. He needs a handful of peanut to throw. Now, they never found anything. They obviously didn't find anyone inside the home. Besides the sounds of all these strange people being in the house, they would also hear the sound of what sounded like thousands of birds immediately taking flight and swooshing away. This is pretty cool to me.
Fucking hate birds.
I looked up the correlation with birds and hauntings. For many centuries, our ancestors looked to nature to bring them important information on health, love, prosperity, and more. There's birds all through. You have like, totem poles. There's birds they can signify a lot through different cultures. You have crows, ravens, and blackbirds. They bring news of good passage and protection. I wouldn't think those are scary looking birds. So
yeah,
these are what these birds mean when you see them, or they're kind of around a lot in certain situations. Hawks represent clear-sightedness and vision. Owls are birds of ill omen. When a hummingbird hovers nearby, it means you are capable of achieving the impossible. That's what we do at Brohio, is we empower the people to do better things with their lives. A bird in the house means different things depending on the type and its behavior. When a bird flies in the window, you may encounter an obstacle in your life soon. If a bird follows you, it wants to be your guardian. I don't know what that word is, so I'm not going to use it.
Augury?
Augury is using the flight patterns of birds to answer life questions, and then dead birds represent metaphysical death and change.
I do find it weird that the crows, ravens, and blackbirds are news of good passage and protection.
Good passage, yeah.
Yeah.
But they
like
were
a group of crows, isn't it a murder? A murder of crows?
Yeah.
That
makes no sense.
That's ominous as fuck.
It is.
But no, it brings good news.
There's some people in my life, if they died, it would be good news. I don't directly know them. I don't want to cite the names, but we'll move on here. Carmen, the mother, claimed that on several occasions she would completely set the table and then return to the kitchen. So she's helping out the family, getting dinner ready. I was going to say, she was doing her job and getting dinner ready.
Oh, yeah.
But, that would have been a poor taste joke.
I'm the one that has to make the sexist jokes here.
I have a wife that sees things on an even keel, so I have to check myself before I fucking wreck myself sometimes. I'm like, hey, can you help me out with some laundry? Why do I have to help you out with laundry? Why can't you help your fucking self, you stupid fuck? And
just for the record, we're not sexist. Women are way better than men.
Oh yeah, we can do an episode about that.
We suck.
She would set the table. She's getting dinner ready for the family. She would go to the kitchen to get more things, and then she would return to the table, and oftentimes everything that she set the table with would be completely gone and back in the cabinets that she just got them from. So she puts all the plates out, goes to get the forks, returns to the table, and the fucking plates are gone.
Maybe it was crazy ass Phillip.
Yeah, definitely. He's on drugs. He's
schizophrenic.
Yeah. Now, in one instance, Carmen was mopping the downstairs, and while she was away from the bucket momentarily, she returned to the mop water to find that it had completely turned into blood. Not just, in some interviews, it wasn't just red water. It had taken the consistency, texture, and smell of blood. Because
what about taste?
If you've ever experienced a situation where there's a substantial blood loss, you can smell the iron.
Mm-hmm.
You can
taste like iron pennies.
That's what. Fuck. Oh, of a gentleman from my past. He used to say, "I
already know where you're going with this."
Eating ass.
Yep, I knew it.
Tastes like putting a handful of pennies in your mouth.
I've heard that before too, but that's wrong.
I don't. I can't believe there's like people when they were kids that used to suck on pennies.
Must be eating a rusty ass.
I'm all beat Sonic 4 times, and Mario, I've had that beat for about 3 months now. I think I'll go suck on a handful of pennies for a little bit just to see what I want to do next with my day.
Tastes like my uncle's asshole.
Yeah. Uncle Jeff, you wouldn't believe it, but
brings back good memories.
I know what you've been eating because taste is too. Now to combat the voices and the shenanigans that happened up until this point, the kids and the mother, they would sleep with the lights on. In typical dad fashion, Big Al, he got pissed off and he took every light bulb out of the house. I'm not making this up. Because he opened up the electric bill and he saw, motherfuck, the electric bill is quadrupled. I ain't playing this game, fam. I'm taking all the light bulbs and I'm throwing them away.
I ain't raising no sissies. You don't need no nightlight.
What, you think cavemen had light bulbs? No. He took every light out of the house. Now you think that's going to slow a ghost down, right?
Shit.
No. They were still experiencing the violent episodes where the walls would shake, the rooms would shake, but with the light bulbs missing, the lights would still flicker. What lights? I don't know. But all of the family said that they would still experience the violent episodes where the lights would go on and off. Pray for them. Pray for the Snedekers. While playing in the basement, Phillip, this is some big brother, little brother shit right here, too.
Yeah.
Phillip got Bradley to lay on a gurney that was left behind from the funeral home.
Hey, lay on that gurney over there, Brad.
Hey, you want to play a fun game? Lay on the gurney and let big brother lick your nuts? It's where you lay on the gurney and then I lick your nuts.
We're going to play necrophilia, pedophilia.
And so he got Bradley to lay on the gurney, and the fucking gurney started spinning in circles like a broken clock. Just it took off spinning. They couldn't stop the goddamn thing. Eventually, Bradley flew off, and he hit his head on the wall and broke his neck, and he died.
Jesus.
I made that up. But the gurney was spinning uncontrollably, and they couldn't get it to stop. Bradley didn't die from the neck break. He didn't break his neck either. So all this stuff, all of this is fine. This is fine.
It happens.
It happens
with any old house.
Chalk it up to ancient Indian burial grounds, just like we always do at the Brohio podcast.
Yep.
Then they start to physically see the dead fuckers walking around the house. I can't do it, Rob. I can't do dead people walking around. And they said it wasn't just like a here and there, that these people were living there. They were there, okay? That was their house, too, and they made that very known. Carmen, she described one of the demons. Well, she described the demons themselves. Why don't you tell us about what what she said the demons look like there, Rob.
Yeah, well, one of the demons was very thin, high cheekbones, long black hair, and pitch black eyes. Another had white hair and eyes, wore a pinstripe tuxedo, fancy as fuck, and his feet were constantly in motion.
Hey,
He's just doing the Charleston.
yeah. Hello, my honey. Hello, my baby. Hello. You guys are probably wondering why I'm here. It's because I just wanted to dance for you guys. Some people think I'm a bad demon. I'm actually just a really friendly ghost.
Look at my feet. Look how fast. They don't stop. They don't stop. They keep going.
It's like my kids. All they do is floss now.
Oh, my God.
I hate kids. They're the worst.
They run everything into the fucking dirt.
Just stand there and floss it out. Now, they needed help. They needed help
Definitely.
to find out what the hell was going on. All right. So who did they call? The Ghostbusters. Ed and Lorraine Warren. They also called in some guy named John Zaffis.
Yeah.
He doesn't fucking matter. Okay. But after after Ed and Lorraine arrived, oftentimes the thing with them is, associated with their name, they would make things up.
Mm-hmm.
They would force feed things to the media to make it sound like they were dealing with something a lot scarier than they were really dealing with. Now, to go with that, a lot worse things started happening after they showed up, oddly enough.
Damn it, Ed and Lorraine.
Yeah. They first started off with a exceptionally horrible smell of rotting flesh and decay that just hung around, and they couldn't get rid of it.
Which we've talked about in previous episodes.
It kind of goes hand in hand with demons and
yeah.
Violent hauntings and whatnot.
Right.
Then there was one episode where Carmen, the mother, she was in the shower. She said she was flipping the bean in the shower, and the shower curtain drew in towards her, and the shower curtain wrapped itself around her face and started choking and suffocating her. The cousin, Tammy, she heard Carmen fighting for her life in there, so she came running. Tammy came into the bathroom and said, "What? She comes into the bathroom and says, I can't help you because you're my aunt and I don't want to see you naked. So I will tell everyone that you are hurt." And she got the shower curtain off of her head. No one was in there, obviously. I take this as she was probably, wine drunk, having a shower beer. She fell down into the shower curtain, got tangled up, and she thought she was dying. But
yeah, water beating on her face with the shower curtain. And
yeah, but maybe
she was just like waterboarding herself pretty much.
But Rob, I always subscribe to the theory that where there's smoke, there's fire. Okay, so maybe they were actually dealing with some scary stuff here.
Could be.
Also, one of the more terrifying things that occurred were the rapes. Not the grapes. Rob and I love grapes, especially frozen grapes. But the rapes. Yes. Carmen and Tammy were both raped by the demons. And Alan was sodomized over, like when I'm reading through the research here and the stories, it's Big Al had a hard time telling everyone how many times he was fucked in the ass by this ghost. Like this.
From that point forward, he was known as Little Al.
Little Al. I'm thinking Al, his asshole must have been tighter than a drum because that ghost kept on coming back for that good. You know what I'm saying? He's up there at the ghost bar. Like, I got this dude down there on Carmel Apple Valley. You know what I'm saying? He kind of got a mustache and shit, but on the back end, dude is hairy. You know what I'm saying? But God damn, you got a tight little beehole, man. And I go down there, and that wife Carmen, she don't even wake up because I just be getting him. I just be getting up in him with his ghost dick, with his demon dick. And on the Sally Jesse Raphael show, they did speak candidly about the ghost rapes. So we're going to play you that clip.
And I love how they provided a bed for them.
They are telling the story in a bed. And
I felt an extreme pain in my anus.
When Al starts talking, it says, Al. And then below it says, sodomized by demon.
That was his description.
Well, here we go.
Al, you said something else happened to you that is very difficult to talk about even today. Can you share it with us?
Yes. One night we were lying in bed. Carmen had already had fallen asleep.
Tell him, Al.
I felt this strange sensation coming over my body. It started at my feet and started climbing up through my body. Before I had a chance to reach over to Carmen to tell her something was wrong, I was froze. I couldn't move. And then I felt this stinging penetration in my anal area. And I was trying to scream, to cry out to Carmen to help me somehow. And I couldn't move. After a while, I don't know how long, it had gone away. There was no more sensation. I woke Carmen up and I said, Carmen, I think I was just sodomized by this demon.
And it was amazing.
This happened to me as well, Sally. It was a tedious kind of pain that happened. It was horrible pain. It was so penetrating.
Horrible.
And so much pain. There was no pleasure in this.
Here she
and
goes
when it would
one-upping
take
poor Al.
me, sexually assault me, it would laugh it with such pleasure. It enjoyed what it was doing to me, and I was so terrified I couldn't move. It was the most crippling thing I've ever been through in my life, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
Your asshole isn't as tight as Al's, but it's still good.
Yeah. I like how she said, there was no pleasure involved. Like she's heard Al say before, listen, Carmen, I know that similar things have happened to us, but I liked what happened to me. I think it felt really nice. Oh, so yeah, that's the shit that they were dealing with. As far
Well, you don't
as,
sleep with your ass in the air in a demon house.
unless you are the delicious Nicolicious, and you guys have had peaches before.
Just bring it, boys.
My butt looks and tastes like a nectarine. I am not an apple bottom. I am a nectarine bottom. Okay, just round and juicy, just like Sir Mix-a-Lot. Okay. Oh my God. So right, I don't know if the man that was raping them was the guy in the pinstripe tuxedo that couldn't stop doing the Charleston.
I would hope.
I think it was though.
He's so classy.
I'm connecting the dots here.
Anal rape seems classy for someone with a pinstripe
Yeah.
suit.
And the episodes with Phillip, they occurred after Ed and Lorraine showed up as well. So when he attacked the cousin, and I mean, he hurt her pretty badly. He told some medical experts that it was voices that he was hearing. Obviously, and when the medical experts immediately diagnosed him with schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we did the episode where we talked about children speaking to the dead, we talked about how a lot of times medical professionals will jump to quick conclusions and give medicine for things that might not necessarily be what's ailing the person. So I'm a firm believer that some people are in touch with like a spiritual side, and they talk to certain people and they see certain things that it would be hard for a normal person. Well, you and I aren't normal people, but
No.
people like us to grasp because it's not something that we deal with. Now, there was some documents provided by the Warrens where they kind of wrote a synopsis of what they thought was going on. They, in their write-up, they said the morticians that worked in the mortuary were allegedly involved in necromancy, which is the practice of trying to bring a body back to life. So they were trying to create zombies, essentially. Now, as well, they were also involved in necrophilia. In the interviews, Ed Warren, he says necrophilia is when people do bad stuff to dead bodies.
Yeah. Definitely not, Ed.
Well,
I mean, it is, but
is really, really, really bad stuff. In the room where the two youngest children stayed was previously, like we said, the showroom for caskets. Down the hall was where the bodies were prepared for viewing. Lorraine Warren would later state that in the master bedroom, there was a trap door where the coffins were brought up. And during the night, you would hear that the chains would hoist as if the coffins were coming up, But when Ed went to check, he found 2 women down there dancing around in circles and singing. When he walked towards them, they disappeared. So if that isn't the most fucking terrifying thing you've ever heard in your entire life.
And you got the other dude sitting there doing the Charleston. It's
Yeah,
like a
hello, hey,
fucking party down there.
Hey, Ed, how about you get the fuck out of here? Because I'm trying you.
We're trying the boogie, buddy.
You cock blocking fat fuck. Now, there was a book written. So the name of the book was In a Dark Place. It was written
About Al's asshole.
It was written about Al's asshole, about how viciously tight it was. The author on Amazon is Ed Warren, but they say the book was mostly prepared by Ray Garton.
He had a ghostwriter. Womp womp.
Now, Ray, he went on record and said that, hey, some of this stuff is not true. This is a completely fabricated story.
Yeah.
Well, 99% of it, he said that Ed told him, hey, look, these people are fucking crazy. They're making this shit up. And 99% of the cases I've ever handled in my life is just a bunch of fucking crazy people saying they're experiencing things that have mental health issues. And they eventually cause themselves to go so crazy that they involve the family, and the family starts to believe things that the crazy person believes. So then you have the whole entire fucking crazy family going completely crazy. And that's how that works. And Ed also told Ray that he needed to make certain things up to make the book seem scarier. So just like Hollywood, in the movie, I think in order to stop, what was happening, the Phillip found dead bodies inside the walls, and they were causing the unrested, spirits and the violent episodes and whatnot. So he burnt the house down with the souls trapped inside. I don't.
Who hides bodies in walls? Especially if you run a mortuary,
yeah. Well, that's what that was what Hollywood did.
Yeah.
To the story. So I'm not really sure. As far as the book itself, which is based off the true story, it's said that Ed told Ray, make some stuff up, just make it scary. There's nothing here that I can turn into a book, so make it scary. Which doesn't seem like that seems like something Ed and Lorraine would do.
Yeah, definitely.
But
my name's Bill Wilkins, and I'm here to tell you about the time that I had sex with Big Al.
Okay, let's hear from a first-hand account of what happened, Mr. Wilkins.
I'm 73 years old, and I died in my own shit. And I was in the shower, and I was trying to take a shit in the shower, and I was gonna waffle stomp it.
Naturally.
And then a fat swamp donkey got in the shower with me, and I knocked her down.
Lorraine?
Carmen.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure.
So I choked her out with a shower curtain. She dead?
No.
She smelled like she was dead. She was on the ground. I said, hey, you big nasty swamp donkey. You take that loofah. You wash that beaver. And then I left, and I went upstairs. You know what I found upstairs?
What did you find upstairs, Mr. Wilkins?
I found one of those nectarine asses poking up in the air. And I was rock hard. It'd been weeks. So I fucked him. Again and again and again and again.
So, did he seem to enjoy it, or was he trying to fight it off?
My name's Bill Wilkins, and I died in my own shit. And I'm 73 years old. And I died in my chair.
All right.
And now I'm dead. In my own shit.
thank you, Bill.
Always a pleasure.
He always shows up at the worst times,
He does. I figured he'd show up today because,
There is an emotional attachment between him and the Warrens,
Yeah.
I would have to say.
yeah, there's a little bit of a connection there.
And I doubled back. I don't remember the first appearance of Bill Wilkins. And it was the Ed and Lorraine Warren episode, right when the episode started.
Okay.
So if you ever want to go back and listen to that.
He makes his random appearances every now and then.
Yeah. He's the password for the closed group, too.
He peeks in, checks on us, makes sure our buttholes are tight.
So your final synopsis here, Rob. What do you think? What do you think we're dealing with here?
Big whoopee cushion sound. I mean, I would assume that they're going to have I don't know, any type of like residual lingerings from a funeral home, but I don't think that the stuff that they said happened was really happening.
Right.
Even I think other people that they've known, like I think in the Sally Jesse Raphael one, the neighbor was like, yeah, all this shit's made up. Like nobody has ever had any problem in this house whatsoever. Blah blah blah.
But all it takes is that, in my opinion, as far as demons and whatnot, it takes that one person to open up.
It's true.
And if people were there before that, were kind of spiritually strong, I should say, and weren't necessarily welcoming to a demon. Philip was kind of broken down. He was sick. There may have been times that he was kind of losing his grip on reality, where he may not
have even been schizophrenic. He may have just been seeing these things.
He allowed himself to he allowed a demon to enter into his mind or his life, and so I think this could go either way, that something was actually happening there. But then you bring in the big fat turds, Ed and Lorraine.
That'll discredit a lot of the things.
And Lorraine, if you're listening, I've written you several times online, and you never return any of our messages. So we do want to interview you.
We want to give you your fair shake
to clear the. Yeah, I'll give her a fair shake.
You ever had a hip replacement, baby? You're gonna need one after this.
Yeah, that's the haunting in Connecticut. We almost hit our hour mark.
We almost did, and just so I do want to kind of mention one thing. We talked about it a little bit in the group. I don't know if we've really said too terribly much about it here, but we recently just went past our year.
Yep.
And I think this is episode 53.
It is.
So if I think we're like a month past our actual initial release date, but
doesn't matter. Dates don't matter.
We're 52 episodes in. That's a year. That's for week-long episodes.
My riches are in heaven.
I just want to make sure that we let everybody know that's listening that it's because of you guys that we're continuing to do this. We're enjoying it. We're growing like crazy. We really owe it all to you guys. We're thankful for each and every one of you guys that listen to us and that support us, either by leaving us reviews, by being patrons, talking to us. We try to engage as much as possible.
We write everybody back.
Yep. And it's just great to hear you guys and talk to you guys. And
yeah, it's crazy. When we started out, we would count the dozens of downloads.
Yeah.
And I'm talking a small handful of friends. And now there's a 15-year-old girl that wrote us on Snapchat. And no, we not like that. Okay. She wrote us on Snapchat. She said she's from Ireland. She's getting ready for school. And she's wearing our hoodie to school in Ireland.
Yeah.
A 15-year-old girl.
It's crazy.
And we have people all over the world listening. I mean, it's truly humbling. I don't know how it happened.
I don't know either, man. It seems like, when we first started, it's like we were stoked to get 300 downloads, and now we're finally at 400, and we're
every week
we're making our way. Yeah,
3 a week is the average. Then there's even people that participate in the activities, butt chuggers and what. They don't even listen.
Yeah,
still.
That group has a mind of it in a life of its own.
Yeah,
we've created something crazy and
amazing.
Ohio
it's not a podcast. It's an experience.
Yeah,
okay,
it's a lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle. Butt chugging is a lifestyle.
It is.
Speaking of butt chugging, I went to the grocery store. I got boxes of Snapple for $2.
Stick Snapple up your crapple.
Yeah, the caramel apple party when we're done.
Yeah, there you go.
So thanks, guys, for listening.
We love you guys again. Thank you very much.
We are appreciative beyond words.
Yeah. We love you. We will see you next week.